All right. All right. All right. Let's get to work, motherfuckers. What else is everybody watching? Let's get this thing going. Hold on here. Good morning, bros and hoes and gigolos. Yeah, I got a little BMNR short on this last pop. Let's see here. Guys, we got some PPI numbers out there on no buenos today. That's a Spanish for no good. So we're gonna have ourselves a little hootenanny today. So let's go dig in here. Let me make sure everybody gets in okay. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Wah, 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 wah. Dun, 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 dun. All right, cool. Let's get to work. Let's go with what we got here. Let me open up my shit. Bah, 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 bah. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we got going here. Yeah, the market's due for a little bit of a pull. Does it fade off all day? Frankly, I don't know. The hot PPI numbers, I think the main worry is you don't want to see this IWM get too cooked today and fail to break out. It's still got a lot of room to go. Like it's only down 1%. But if this thing fails for the umpteenth fucking time, then I think we've got to be a little bit cheekier with what we're trying to do. So just kind of be mindful. There's going to be some hoopla going on today. So all we got to do now is make sure we capture this properly. So the question becomes, the big hairy, Indian butt is that obviously we're in a raging bull market. The price action has been fantastic. But what happens, what happens next, right? What happens next? What happens, if things start to fall apart? We don't really know, right? So let's see what's going on with the indexes, where, if there's any levels or anything to this. So I think first things first for the Qs, any retest down to 575 or even the 9 EMA, or frankly a little bit lower, would be welcome, right? It's not really where we've broken out for a couple days, but it's really where the market starts to make its run, right? So when the market starts to make a run like that, it's natural to pull back for a few days. So if you back and fill like some of this area, that's bullish for the market. Watch this BMNR here, guys, too. I'm loaded in, basically a few hundred at a time here on these pops. I think this thing gets fucking dusted though. Bum, 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 bum. So going back to this, now granted, I've been shorting this thing for days on every pop. So just bear with me on it. But let's see how we back and fill this area here. SPY, same thing. It looks just like the Qs, right? So just kind of be a little bit mindful. The IWM is a little bit more precarious. You get hot inflation numbers, then this becomes a problem on the IWM. My interesting kind of caveat of all this is that, the TLT is still green. So we haven't had much of a reaction on this one yet. So I think that is something, we'll kind of keep into the back of our heads too. Even though this PPI came in a little bit aggressive, we haven't seen necessarily, big pull in TLT. Now, look, so if the TLT, serum number 5, if the TLT starts to, yank itself a little bit, now we put ourselves in a situation where we could have an, all day long sell program sell off. One of the interesting things of late is like when the market's been selling off or grinding, they've been putting the buy and sell programs in, and you just have been like grinding up or grinding down like the whole fucking day, which is, a little bit more of a rare bird. So keep that into the back of your heads too. Watch this TLT. If you start to kind of like, I would say, fill this gap right here, then we're going to have ourselves, a little bit of fun. Does that make sense? Good. Now, beyond all of that, so what the fuck do we trade today? I think, I think some of these bad boys that are feeling a little bit toppy here. Um, Toppy. When I say toppy, right? Like I'm a day trader, so in short swing trader. When I say toppy, it could be for 4 or 5 days, right? But like you have a level right here on old Palantir. I think this thing has got more than enough juice on it. Yeah, so let's add let's roll with this bad boy. Yeah, let's go with this one. I like it. It's a muchos and a buenos. Yeah, 181. I personally will do probably the puts on this. So if we're rolling in, we're Thursday, you can go. I mean, you could zero DT, I guess it would be a Friday DT, but you could go in if it takes it out, you can go in with say the 180s. I think that's probably a good spot. You don't want to be too far off. I personally think like you don't want to be too far off when you're rolling with this. Yeah, you don't want to be too far off, but like if you start to cook this, you'll get $2 in one candle. Like if you get fucking rugged at the open, if you get rugged at the open, like you'll get the $2 in one candle. So I'd go in personally with I'd personally go in with the 180s. If you're going zero, if that's a little bit too wild for you, I always tell the newer guys like go a week out. I think you can go, into the 22nd, for example. You go into the 22nd and you pay up a couple bucks. Oh, BMNR, go you fucking slut. Sorry. Come on, baby. Go, go, da, 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 dun, 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 dun. Your BMNR taking out lows here. Come on, you Randy. This motherfucking stock owes me. I've been shorting this on like every pop for days. And waking up early, shorting. It's, you know what? I've been making money on it, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like, was it worth it? Yeah, you know, that's harder to that's fucking hard to imagine. But I think this is the day because if you look at ETH, ETH is down 4% this morning. So this is the proper time, right? This is the proper time to kind of do some of these things. Um, Oh, yeah. And you can see here, right? So a lot of times, like, obviously the PPIs come out, but we were due for a little bit of a pullback on some of these things, anyways. Like, you had an awesome 5 day run here, and right, we got to pull back sometimes. Like, it's not always going to be super linear where like things just drop the way they want. But yeah, Ethereum's at 4,555. It's time to fucking take these pigs down. Like it really is. So I think today, we add in SBET too. This thing, look, if this thing loses this level right here, I mean, this thing is a Randy. It really, dude, it's a big gelatinous, it's a big gelatinous piece of excrement. So it's actually it's been trading a lot better than BMNR, oddly. Yeah, see, you can probably roll with this one if you want. It should be easy to borrow. I mean, usually like even E Trade has some of these bad boys. So watch this level here. I want you to market this out. So if you go, let's go like boom, 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 just a quick Palantir. I want you to add in, right? Because we got the level right there. SBET, right? You got a speed up spot here. So if you look at this, it's kind of a little bit head and shouldersy. So when it looks like you got like a big nub, like a middle finger there, looks like just like a little, a nub sticking out. That's good stuff right there. Like that's when you want to be a little bit aggressive, right? Like that's a rollover pattern. So this was the peak out, right? You got a lower high, and now you're cracking this trend line here. Like this is, man, this is good shit right here. Hell yeah, dude. If it pops up a little bit here, I would probably dangle my berries on this a little bit in the pre-market. But I don't like chasing these things down like, $2, $3. Where you really want to hit them is like kind of more into that. You want to hit them a little bit into that lower high. So just something to be mindful of. Fuck yeah. Look at this BMNR. Now you got a trender on this. Like, this is like, guys, even though it's down 7%, first pop at the open, like, you can put your fucking balls on this thing. You can put your balls on this thing a little bit. It's got room, like 50 maybe. It's got room to 50, 40. You don't really know once the sell pressure kicks in. That's like the huge thing. Just keep an eye on the price of Ethereum, throughout the day. I think that'll kind of give you some clues too. And then keep an eye on the IWM and all of this kind of fun stuff too. And, we'll see kind of what the fuck is going on. I had this big, beautiful watch list here, but like, I think some of this is going to need to, marinate a little bit. So let's do this. Let's go in and see if we got any good earnings plays, and then we'll kind of come back into some of these larger names and stuff like that. XPON. Hey, look, so I don't like small caps, as you guys know. I was diving into them yesterday. I'm an old man. I was an old man, but I was feeling lusty and busty yesterday. And I was diving into this BLSK? Dude, I mean, all luck here. We took this flag pattern in the chat room. Dude, you can't get a fucking, better play than that. All luck, by the way, right? Like, it fucking just ramps up like a motherfucker. Dude, it's a buenos. Hell yeah. Oh, man. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom, boom. Oh man, that's actually, so like when you see something like this and it goes from $3 to $18, usually the next day there's gonna be like some big, there's gonna be some other stock that like everybody's like, dude, this could be the next, right? This could be the next blue sky. This could be the next this could be the next that. You'll see that quite a bit. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Dude, so if you like small caps, you can do that one. Sanoa also, right? Like, you got a huge base here. Now, look, this is a big pump and dump stock, right? It was $400. So just kind of be mindful. Like, it's a turd, but, it could be your turd, right? Same thing. You got BMRA. It's a turd. The question becomes, is it your turn, right? And it very well could be. It very well could be. And if it is, then dude, go and do the Lord's work properly. You're going to do the Lord's work properly on these. I'll probably stay away. Now, Wolf had earnings out, and it had like a couple different pieces of news out. It's up a lot. It's not a low float name. It's lower, but it's 300 million share float. So you do got to be a little bit mindful on this one. You got news out, you got earnings out, you got this, nice little flag pattern out. I think you could probably play something like this. You'll need a pull on this. Like, if it yanks at the open a little bit, keep an eye on it. I think that's probably right up, our alley, because it's not like it's not going to be like a crazy kind of pump and dumpy name. Not that, I'm opposed to playing those either anymore, but, we do just got to be a little bit mindful as we go through this. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, you can put any of those three on. I think there's going to be some volatility today. So I want to make sure that I'm able to capture what I need to on the regular names. Like, see something like that, Aaron could work. Yo, this D-Lo as a pretty big base. You got like a year and a half worth of pattern over here. You could do something like this. Guys, one of the things to do, like when you're unsure of what the market is going to do, what you want to be doing, right? What you want to be doing is like look in and, you can trade these PR plays. And they're going to be doing, they'll do the Lord's work. Like, they'll do the Lord's work. You'll have this is going to do whatever it's going to do, right? So like if it's hot today, whether the market gets fandazzled or not, like this will probably do it. So you can keep an eye on something like this. I'm going to put it on my watch list too. Neg, I got no word. So what's happening with Neg is that there's a handful of insiders that are basically like buying up the float and pumping it and doing all sorts of goodies. And so you got a little bit of action going on over here that I think did it, you can keep trading it, not my particular flavor, right? This is a big time pumpy dumpy, all sorts of goodies here. Probably to me, it's a leave alone. Yeah, I think you got to leave this one alone for a little bit. A lot of people have been asking me about this one, but there's just mechanics on this one that we don't really understand, right? It's like an insider job. It's an insider job that like somebody is buying up, right? Like, all right, cool. Arrow, this IPO stock, West. You could do this one. I believe this had its earnings out too. You could roll with this one. I wouldn't be, IPOs have been hot. The question on this is just, a matter of liquidity. Does it get any liquidity in to the point, right, where it's like you're able to do what you need to do? That I don't know. Bum, 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 junk. Hey, this fucking IPO, it's gapping up here today, but it was a dud and a half. So look, after FIG, everybody's been expecting like a big, right? Like a big little mamma jamma. Everybody's been expecting a big pop on some of these IPOs. That Fly Aerospace, very similar. It started off promising. We were trading it for a hot second. It popped up like $10 first candle, and then it just rolled over. This is probably a rollover. They had borrows on it yesterday. They weren't crazy. They were expensive. I believe it was $9 for 100 shares. So it was a little bit expensive, the borrows. But what are you going to do, right? Fucking, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm okay with something like this. But I think probably it's a better fader if it has like a big fucking pop. You can trade it back and forth just because it's got like a little bit of, liquidity, but I don't see any like huge edge in something like that. Junk. Good. GERD technology. This thing's a slut. Bum. All right. Let's dig back through this. So let's take a look at the big boys here real quick, just to see if we need any level of shorts. So, Amazon here is the only one that's up on the day out of, I believe, the Mag 7s. You dumped off on earnings over here and you've like completely rebound. Guys, this setup has been working a lot, by the way. Just kind of keep this in the back of your heads. So, you have this earnings debacle, right? And it kind of jumps down to like 210. And it goes down for a couple days, and then they just buy it back up. And I've been seeing this a lot in this particular earnings season, where you're just like, fuck, like, look, it's right back where it started. That's a setup. Paul calls that the gap down reversal play. That is a setup you can do. If you see Microsoft, it's just sitting on this ledge at the 20 SMA. If you look at the daily chart, it's like a hedge fund hotel, like, when they just grind up like that, it's like just like these institutions and stuff like kind of just perking their pickle on this thing, and it's just grinding up. The ATR sucks on it now. Like it's moving, a handful of bucks, $2, $3 most days, $5. It's a $500 stock. Like you kind of need a little bit more range than that. And if you look on the weekly chart, so there's a weekly chart over here on the bottom left. It's been up. Finally, you have a couple red candles. It's been just trending up its 9 EMA for months. So I don't know if this is like got anything that excites me personally. Netflix is in the middle of no man's land. If we need a short, this is your hourly chart on Apple. See how like it's just been kind of trending up to 9 EMA? If it loses this bone zone, if it loses this kind of EMA band here, I think that would be probably a good short signal. You are pretty, you're a little bit extended, from where the move started for, what it likes to do. So keep an eye on that too. I think that one's a potential. Google still looks like a good chart, muted reaction today. Its all-time highs are just coming up right here. It'd be nice if these fucking things would, pull back a little bit once in a while. We don't have that much price discovery lately in these fucking markets. It's like, when they start going, they just go, right? And it's like you're just taking like baby pullbacks on them. Meta had the flag breakout over here, and then it kind of just has been drifting lower for a couple days. I don't know if there's like, I don't know if there's like some big heater on this. Like it is a breakout on the weekly. You got a couple okay days out of it. One okay day out of it in the last few. Not really my exact flavor. And you can see here, like NVIDIA, its earnings are not for a couple weeks, but like it's just sitting here too. It's been stalling at this level here. It may need to just dump off too. Like if you see here on the weekly chart, since 82, it's just been going up, 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 up. This is the 9 EMA on this. Maybe it needs to pull back to the 9 EMA on the weekly, which would kind of give you, a decent size pull to at least the lower Bollinger Band on the daily chart. Like that could probably be, a worthwhile play. But like, I think these are all just leave alones. Like if you're sitting there trading this, like fucking AVG is $140, it's just been like inching higher, and you're sitting there like making most of your trades in this, you're probably underperforming the market just a tad. Palantir, this is our level here. Let's see if we break it at the open. I would put that as a 6 windows. And the reason is like, even though it doesn't have like the crazy awesome range on Palantir, I would keep this as, you could trade options on it to juice it up. It's going to be liquid at the open. So I would roll with this one. You beam in, yeah, that might have been it for at least its pre-market move. We'll have to see now, like kind of this flush out over here. Now we'll have to see kind of how it plays out here. Boom, 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 boom. Now here's another one that I think, guys, here's one that I think can be juicy for today if we need it. Let's add this fucking circle. You got a level right here. You got a level right here on this bad boy. Dude, that ain't so bad. What do you think? I mean, it loses that. You're in it, right? Like you're in it. You're in it for the big one. So let's add this bad boy to the watch list. I think 180. I think 180 is the spot. 180 is or not 180, 150 is the spot. You got a real easy level here. Ideally, circle trade's a little bit thin, right? So what you need to do on this bad boy, if it just pops up a little bit, at the open, I think that'll give us a nice spot. It usually likes to do like 1 or 2 candle pops like right at the open, and then it rugs itself. So if you see something like that where it's just like quick pop, boom, watch for the pull. So it's just like a little failed follow through. I think that'll be a good God-fearing Christian setup right there. So let's add in a little bit of that too. Da, 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 da. And now I want to just be mindful of something, guys. People lost a lot of money short in this market. The market has been gangbusters for, quite some time. And minus a day here, a day there hasn't been much money made on the short side, unless you're talking about, just like, mean reversion kind of plays. So, just be mindful. You don't want to get too bearish on anything because the market is still like in just a big bull market. My only thinking is that, oftentimes they put the sell programs in lately and buy programs on these news days, and then you get like these big trend days, or at least for a few hours. And so that's what I'm kind of playing for. On the upside, I think we got a lot of still good looking charts. On the upside, if the market bounces, like this AMD's got a nice breakout look to it, and you got a small gap down, right, where you're kind of you'll retest some of this breakout spot. That's going to be hot, and this is pretty liquid. You could trade options on it, all this kind of fun stuff. Let's see what's up, right? Let's see what's up on this. If we need a long, like we can do something like that. It's going to open up into some demand zones. I like that look. If we need a long, say the IWM starts to cook. If we need a long, this has got a great setup here, right? Now, look, could it use a day of rest? I think so, but it's a huge breakout. Can we use a day of rest? Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, we can use probably a little bit of a day of rest, so we give it a day of rest. This old Reddit, like this is a hot stock. Like I've been trying to find a way to get into it, but there's nothing, right? So it's a double top right now. But once it pulls back a little bit, like this thing is getting bought up most likely, right? So like I want to be a part of that. Like this A-Lab is another name, right? Like huge fucking move. It's just $50. Got to 200. It's a pretty low float name. This was an earnings blowout, right? So like you want these things to kind of blow out today. Like if this thing gets down into 9 EMA or somewhere into the zone, I mean, that's going to set up a awesome, potential long, probably a swing trade that you can hold for a month or two, right? Or, at least a handful of weeks. So we want to see these kind of, right? We want to see some of these pullbacks happen. If we got a long, we'll just stay with the really liquid kind of names here, but there's a handful of these. I put them on YouTube yesterday too. Boom, 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 boom. But we can do that. Like this PSKY, awesome setup yesterday, right? Fuck. Like, they announced a deal with the UFC. So you had this huge kind of, and then it got, kind of labeled as a meme stock and stuff like that. Dude, that's a nice doohickey right there. Yeah, so like you can see this one's opening up pretty good. I think we can keep something like that, right? You can see like this kind of stuff too extended. So like they all need to pull back a little bit. I like this one a lot. If the market goes today, this Chewy had a big fucking, big stick on it. You got a flat open on this. If we need a potential long, this one, PSKY, like I'm looking for ones that are not extended, right? I think anything like that, like we can come in and do. By the way, I got a swing trade on this. It's opening like shit today. I forgot about this PPI. But I think this thing's a beast setup right here. You got tons of liquidity. RKT's been going. This is like one of its competitors. You got base breakout on this bad boy. You're retesting the 200 here. If the market shores up, I think this is probably right up our alley too. Oh, that's a pretty good one. AAP did have earnings. Cisco had earnings. Blah, blah, blah. JD had earnings. Let's take a look. JD, not much reaction. You can see Baba. Baba's got a nice daily chart here, but dude, it's been stuck in range forever. Many hopes and dreams have been lost on the Baba. AB looks okay, but you could take it short down to the 50. It just trades too thin for me. Not my particular flavor. I'm a coffee man. Tesla's another one. Like, if it can back test and hold into this trend line zone somewhere around here, maybe you get a little bit of a long life. But for today, I'm thinking we short some piggies. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, Chewy ad for the long. Shop looks like a long. And like, see this MU, like this is good. Like you ran into resistance, you're pulling back. When it fills this gap, you have the 9 EMA there. I want to flip this bad boy long, right? So we got ourselves a spot here. P Daddy Slim, what up? How you doing, my friend? Long time no see. So yeah, add this one, but like let it get dusted out here a little bit. Let it get dusted out here a little bit, guys. So let's go back into this. Market's going to open in a few minutes, right? You got a little bit of heaviness. What you want to do is get organized here, right? Get your 6-window layouts. You got AMD, you got Aspect, you got Palantir, you got BMNR. This is on the short list. On the long side, I want to look at potentially, on the long side, I'm thinking AMD. I'm thinking, Meta and MU, I think is probably like the easier, daily charts for longs. Maybe Tesla if you get into some good locations. And that's it. You don't need much today because there'll be some volatility. Keep an eye too. I noticed, I had it yesterday for day trade, didn't do shit, but probably Hood, if you can get back closer to 100, is probably also maybe in a bounce spot. But you got to be careful. This trend is, very long in the tooth. Look, this thing was $30 a couple months ago. Everybody's trying to buy the first dip on this. Maybe you don't have to because it's up hundreds of percent. So let it come back. Let it do what it's got to do. And, we'll do the do. All right. My friends, I love you. Today we do the Lord's work in the devil's playground, my friends. All right. Let's go and have some fun. In the mañanas.